What if the deepest wounds you carry come not from others, but from the chains you've forged yourself? Pause and let that sink in. When was the last time you felt untouchable, your heart steady, your soul shielded from the stings of betrayal, rejection, or loss? Was it a fleeting moment of clarity, a day you stood tall, or is it so distant it feels like a myth? Most of us live as if we're at war, not with the world, but with ourselves, our habits and routines building walls we think protect us, but which instead leave us open, fragile, bleeding. The enemy isn't always out there. Sometimes it's within, in the patterns you follow, the choices you repeat, the quiet ways you let pain in. So let me ask you, raw and urgent, are you your own worst enemy, and how long will you let your wounds fester? Your habits and routines, the ones you've built to feel safe, are the very traps that invite hurt, making you predictable, vulnerable, and easy to wound. You've felt it, haven't you? The way a friend's slight cuts deeper because you always seek their approval. The way a colleague's betrayal stings because you always say yes. The way your own silence lets their words pierce your peace. These aren't random blows, they're enabled by your patterns, the automatic ways you respond, suppress, or surrender. You're not just hurting, you're allowing it. Your routine's a cracked door that pain walks through. The world doesn't need to break you. You're leaving the gate open, and every wound is a sign you've been fighting the wrong enemy. Why do you keep wounding yourself when you could build a shield? Let me tell you about Daniel. He was 32, a high school teacher who lived to please his students, his principal, his parents, even strangers. His routine was ironclad, always available, always smiling, always swallowing his own needs to keep others happy. He thought it was kindness, but it was a trap. A co-worker, sensing his need for approval, started leaning on him for favors, then spread rumors when Daniel hesitated. The betrayal crushed him, not just the act, but the realization that his habit of people-pleasing had painted a target on his back. He'd been hurt before, by friends who used him, by family who dismissed him, and now he saw the pattern. His routines were his enemy, inviting pain by making him predictable. Daniel started changing, saying no, speaking up, prioritizing himself. It was messy, some relationships frayed, but he felt a spark of strength. Does that echo in you? Have your habits open the door to pain too? The sting of betrayal, the ache of loss, the quiet bruise of being overlooked, all rooted in the routines you thought kept you safe. You know the moments, when you've bitten back your truth to avoid conflict, when you've given too much to someone who gave nothing, when you've followed a script because it's what you always do. You've been your own enemy, haven't you, building traps with every reflex to please, every suppressed emotion, every choice to stay small. It's not just pain, it's a betrayal, a slow sabotage of your own soul by patterns you've let rule. You're tired of hurting, of bleeding, of being less than the fortress you could be. Why do you keep the door open when you could lock it tight? The psychology is stark, almost cruel. Your habits are wired into your unconscious, born from a need for safety, belonging, control. You please because you fear rejection. You suppress because you fear chaos. You repeat because change feels like falling. Daniel lived it. Every yes was a shield against disapproval, every silence a wall against conflict. But shields crack, don't they? His routines didn't protect him. They exposed him, making him a magnet for those who sensed his fragility. You're exposed too, every time you follow the same script, every time you let their words outweigh your worth, every time you choose routine over strength. Your habits aren't just patterns, they're invitations, and pain intensifies every time. It's not their malice that wounds you, it's your permission, and it's time to revoke it. The drama surges here, where the heart races and the stakes feel like fire in your veins. Your life's a battlefield, and you've been fighting yourself, your routines the weapons that turn your strength to weakness. Daniel stood on that battlefield, his kindness a sword that cut him deeper than anyone else. You're standing there too, every time you've let their slights pierce you, every time you've swallowed your voice, every time you've stayed predictable because it felt safer. It's not safety, it's surrender, a quiet gift of your power to a world that thrives on your wounds. The enemy's not out there, it's in you, but it's not you. You're not the wound, you're the warrior, if you'll dare to fight. What stops you from raising your shield? This is your wake-up call, your moment to see the enemy within. Daniel saw his, broke his patterns, and found a strength he didn't know he had. You can see yours too. Look at the habits that bind you, the need to please, the reflex to hide, the routine you follow without thought. They're not allies, they're traitors, opening the gate to pain. The world wants you fragile, a heart they can bruise, but you're not glass. You're steel, if you'll forge yourself. You're still here, still breathing, still holding a spark of the power pain hasn't claimed. The enemy's real, but so is your strength, fiercer, deeper, ready to rise. So stop now, right now, and name one habit, one routine that leaves you open to hurt. Swear to face it, reader, to break it, to never let it wound you again. Your shield's waiting. Forge it today, and take the first step to a life nothing and nobody can touch. What if the key to never being hurt again lies in facing the parts of yourself you've buried deep? Imagine holding a mirror, not to your face, but to your soul, seeing not just the light but the shadows, the fears, the doubts, the habits you've let fester in the dark. Carl Jung, the sage of the psyche, believed that true strength comes from confronting these hidden pieces, from making the unconscious conscious. Your routines, your automatic ways of pleasing, hiding, or shrinking, they're not just habits, they're shadows, and they're the cracks through which pain seeps in. What if you could stare into that mirror, see the truth, and emerge unbreakable? So let me ask you with fire and urgency, are you ready to face your shadows and claim a life no one can wound? Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Jung wrote, his words a clarion call to awaken. Here's the harsh, gut-wrenching truth. You're not just hurt by others. You're hurt by your refusal to see the patterns you've buried, the unconscious habits that let pain in. You've felt it, haven't you? The way a rejection stings because you crave approval, the way a betrayal cuts because you suppress your instincts, the way your routines make you a target for those who sense your fragility. These aren't accidents, they're invitations, written in the shadows of your psyche, in the habits you don't question, the fears you don't face. You're not a victim of the world, you're a prisoner of your own unconscious, and the key is in your hands. Why do you keep hiding when you could shine? Jung's philosophy is a lifeline, a map to freedom through the wilderness of your soul. He called it the shadow, the parts of you you've denied, the anger you've stifled, the strength you've ignored, the routines you've let define you. These shadows aren't your enemy, they're your power, waiting to be claimed. But most people run, clinging to habits that feel safe, blind to how they open the door to pain. Your need to please, your reflex to stay silent, your routine of putting others first, they're shadow-driven, unconscious scripts that make you predictable, vulnerable, easy to hurt. Jung's path of individuation, integrating these shadows, isn't just growth, it's armor, a way to become so whole that no external blow can pierce you. Why let your shadows rule when you could wield them? Ready to face the mirror and see the shadows that let hurt in. You've felt the wounds, the sting of dismissal, the ache of being used, the quiet bruise of your own silence. You've been your own gatekeeper, haven't you, letting pain through with every reflex to please, every suppressed truth, every routine that keeps you small. It's not just hurt, it's a betrayal, a quiet sabotage of your power by shadows you've let linger. You're tired of bleeding, of breaking, of being less than the fortress you could be. I see you, standing before the mirror, your truth waiting, your strength ready to rise. You're not here to hurt, you're here to heal. So why do you keep running when you could face the light? Your psyche's a labyrinth, and you've been lost in it. Your shadow's the threads that tie you to pain. You're wandering. Every time you've let their words cut you, every time you've buried your anger, every time you've stayed predictable because it felt safer. It's not safety, it's servitude, a surrender of your soul to shadows you can master. The world wants you fragile, a heart they can bruise, but you're not fragile, you're fierce if you'll dare to look within. What stops you from holding the mirror up? This is where the fire ignites, where the air hums with urgency. Jung's mirror isn't a metaphor, it's a challenge, a call to see your shadows, to break the routines that make you vulnerable, to become whole. Most won't look, they'll stay lost, their lives a cycle of pain they call fate, their shadows ruling because they fear the truth. They'll hurt, not because they're weak, but because they're blind to the power in their depths, to the strength in their shadows. You've been blind too, haven't you? Every time you've let their slights pierce you, every time you've followed habits that left you open, every time you've hurt because you didn't see. But blindness isn't your name. You're a seeker, a sage, a soul that can rise above pain. This is your moment, your chance to face the mirror and claim your power. You can face yours. Look at the habits that hurt you, the need to be liked, the silence you keep, the routine you follow without thought. They're not your allies, they're your shadows, inviting pain with every step. The world's not your wounder, not unless you let it be. You're still here, still breathing, still holding a spark of the strength pain hasn't claimed. Jung's wisdom is yours. Make the unconscious conscious, and fate becomes your choice. So stop now, right now, and take a pen. Journal tonight, and uncover one habit, one shadow that lets hurt in. Swear to face it, to break it, to never let it wound you again. Your mirror's waiting. Look into it, and step toward a life nothing and nobody can touch. What would happen if you became so whole, so fiercely aware, that no one could pierce your peace? Imagine yourself as a fortress, your soul a blazing core no external blow can touch, your mind a shield forged from the shadows you've faced and the routines you've shattered. Carl Jung's vision of individuation, the journey to integrate your inner depths, isn't just a path to self-discovery. It's a forge where you craft invulnerability, a life where pain becomes a stranger. Your habits, your predictable patterns, they've left you open to hurt. But what if you could break them, rebuild yourself, and rise untouchable? So let me ask you, with urgency that burns, are you ready to forge your shield and never be wounded again? Invulnerability comes from dismantling the routines that make you fragile, from embracing your shadow, and from building a self so complete that no betrayal, no rejection, no slight can breach it. Jung taught that the shadow, your hidden fears, suppressed desires, unacknowledged strengths, isn't your flaw, it's your foundation. Your routines of pleasing, of silence, of shrinking to fit others' expectations, they're shadow-driven, cracks in your armor that let pain in. To forge your shield is to break these patterns, to face your depths, to become a force that stands firm against the world's chaos. Most don't forge, they cling to habits that feel safe, blind to how they invite hurt. You've clung too, haven't you? Let their words wound you. Let their needs shape you. Let your routines betray you. Why stay fragile when you could be a fortress? That which does not kill us makes us stronger, Nietzsche declared, a truth that echoes Jung's call to transform pain into power. Forging your shield isn't about avoiding hurt. It's about using it, alchemizing every wound into strength by breaking the habits that enabled it. It's saying no when you'd say yes, speaking when you'd stay silent, choosing yourself when you'd choose them. Most lack this alchemy. They repeat their routines, their lives a cycle of pain they think is fate, their shields unformed because they fear the fire of change. You've repeated too, haven't you? Every time you've swallowed your truth, every time you've followed the same script, every time you've hurt because you didn't dare forge. But fate isn't your master, not yet. You're steel, waiting to be shaped. Let me tell you about Leo. He was 41, a marketing consultant whose life was a maze of routines. Always deferring to clients, always bottling his anger, always prioritizing others' approval over his own peace. Leo thought it was professionalism, but it was a trap. His shadow, a fear of being unliked, made him predictable, a target for manipulation and hurt. A client's public criticism, laced with condescension, broke him. Not just the words, but the pattern. His routine of compliance had invited it. Inspired by Jung's ideas, Leo started facing his shadow. He journaled his fears, confronted his need to please, and broke his habits. He set boundaries with clients, expressed his frustrations, carved out time for his own goals. Some clients left, but others respected him. His relationships deepened, his peace grew unshakable. Leo didn't just survive, he forged a shield, invulnerable because he was whole. What could you forge if you faced your shadows? I'm talking to you, reader, right where your heart surges, right where your soul demands freedom. Are you ready? Ready to shatter your chains and build a life no one can wound? You felt the pain, the sting of being used, the ache of being dismissed, the quiet bruise of your own silence. You've been fragile, haven't you, letting your routines open the door to hurt, letting your shadows steer you into pain. It's not just wounds, it's a betrayal, a quiet sabotage of your strength by patterns you've let rule. You're tired of breaking, of bleeding, of being less than the fortress you could be. I see you, standing in the forge, your shield half-formed, your power ready to blaze. You're not here to hurt, you're here to rise. So why do you keep hiding when you could stand tall? The drama peaks here, where the stakes feel like a storm raging within. Your soul's a forge, but you've left it cold, your routine's the fuel that feeds your pain. Leo stood in his forge, his habits a fire that burned him until he faced his shadow and turned the flames to strength. You're standing there too. Every time you've let their slights cut you, every time you've buried your truth, every time you've stayed predictable because it was easier. It's not ease, it's exposure, a wide open gate to a world that thrives on your fragility. The hurt's not your fault, but it's your fight, and you're not defenseless, you're unformed, a shield waiting to be forged. What stops you from striking the hammer? This is where the fire roars, where the air crackles with possibility. Forging your shield is a rebellion, a defiance of the routines that bind you, a step toward Jung's vision of a self so whole it fears no wound. Most won't rebel. They'll stay fragile, their lives a loop of pain they call life, their shields unbuilt because they fear the heat. They'll hurt, not because they're weak, but because they're asleep to the power in their shadows, to the strength in their depths. You've been asleep too, haven't you? Every time you've let their words pierce you, every time you've followed habits that left you open, every time you've broken because you didn't forge. But sleep isn't your name. You're a warrior, a sage, a soul that can rise above pain. This is your forge, your moment to shape or shatter. Leo shaped his, faced his shadows, and broke the routines that bound him, his shield of flame no one could breach. You can shape yours too. Look at the habits that hurt you, the need to be liked, the silence you keep, the routine you follow without thought. They're not your allies, they're your cracks, letting pain slip through. The world's not your wounder, not unless you let it be. You're still here, still breathing, still holding a spark of the strength hurt hasn't claimed. Nietzsche's truth is yours. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger if you'll forge it. So stop now, right now, and take one action. Confront a fear, set a boundary, change a response. Swear to forge your shield, reader, to break your routines, to never let pain in again. The forge is hot, strike the hammer, and step toward a life nothing and nobody can touch. The world bows to a soul so whole that nothing and nobody can pierce its light. Picture yourself standing tall, your heart a fortress, your spirit a flame no betrayal, no rejection, no slight can dim. You've shattered the routines that made you fragile, faced the shadows that let pain in, and now you live in a new world. One where hurt is a stranger, powerless against the truth you've claimed. This is the life Carl Jung envisioned, not just healed, but unbreakable, a self so integrated, so fiercely aware, that no external force can wound it. You've been hurt, haven't you, by the patterns you followed, the habits you let rule? But no more. So let me ask you, with a fire that demands an answer, can you live so fiercely that pain becomes a shadow you've outgrown? Most will stay fragile, chained to routines, too afraid to face themselves and claim the strength that awaits. They'll cling to the familiar, the need to please, the silence they keep, the scripts they follow, because it's easier to hurt than to heal. You've seen them, drained by others' words, broken by others' actions, their lives a cycle of pain they call fate. They're not weak, they're unwilling, too scared to break the habits that invite hurt, too tethered to fear to forge their own power. That's the trap of routine. It promises comfort but delivers wounds, leaving you bleeding while others walk away unscathed. But you're not here to bleed. You're here to rise, unbreakable, a force no one can touch. Why settle for fragility when you could be a fortress? You're not born to be wounded. You're born to soar, to live, to be. You felt the pain, haven't you? The sting of betrayal, the ache of being dismissed, the quiet bruise of your own silence, all rooted in the routines that left you open. You've been fragile, dancing to their words, bending to their needs, your habits the cracks that let hurt in. It's left you scarred, hasn't it? Your peace fractured, your strength buried, your life shaped by wounds you didn't deserve. You're tired of hurting, of breaking, of being less than the fortress you are. I see you, standing at this peak, your light ready to blaze, your power waiting to rise. You're not their victim. You're a storm, a truth, a force no one can wound. Are you ready to claim it? Your life's a forge, and you've been burned by the routines you fed to the flames. You're standing there, every time you've let their slights pierce you, every time you've buried your truth, every time you've stayed predictable because it was easier. It's not ease, it's exposure, a gate you've left open to a world that thrives on your pain. The hurt's not your fault, but it's your fight, and you're not defenseless, you're unformed, a fortress waiting to be built. What stops you from raising your walls? Picture it. A life where you're not their echo but their awe, not their canvas but their reckoning. You've been their mirror, reflecting their chaos, but mirrors can turn inward, can't they? Jung's path, integrating your shadow, breaking your routines, isn't retreat. It's ascent, a rise to a self so whole that pain can't touch it. Nadia ascended, her silence a canvas of strength, her presence a force because it was hers alone. You can ascend too, not their wounds, but your light, not their scripts, but your truth. Most won't. They'll stay fragile, their lives a loop of hurt they call life, their fortresses unbuilt because they fear the work. They'll break, not because they're less, but because they never dared to be more. This is your rebellion, your flame, your unbreakable world. You're not here to absorb their pain. You're here to forge a life where hurt has no power. Jung's wisdom is your guide. Face your shadows, shatter your routines, claim your wholeness. Nadia claimed hers, her nose painting a life of art and peace, her strength a shield no one could breach. You're next. Stop bending to their will. Start building your own. Let go of their wounds. Embrace your power. You'll lose some, the ones who thrived on your fragility, who fed on your routines. But you'll gain everything. Your clarity, your strength, your you. The world doesn't need another wound. It needs a warrior, a soul that stands free, a light that no one can dim. Let the silence of your strength be your anthem, your armor, your truth. The world's loud, their betrayals, their dismissals, their subtle stings, but your light is louder, a force that drowns their pain with peace. Most will falter, too scared to face their shadows, too soft to claim their power. Not you. You're the spark in the dark, the storm in the calm, the fortress they didn't see coming. Nadia built her world, her light a canvas of resilience and truth. Your world's waiting, fiercer, brighter, yours. What will you do with it? Step into your strength, reader, unapologetic and radiant. Break the routines, forge your shield, and let your life be a beacon no hurt can touch. The choice is yours. Make it today, and let your freedom reshape the world.